Hi, I'm Melissa Boston. I'm Dean of Student Health and Wellbeing.
Hi, I'm Julia Ward. I'm a freshman and I play field hockey and lacrosse here at Manhattanville.
I'm Gervasi. I'm a freshman and I play men's tennis.
So SHAC is Student Health and Counseling, and we are an integrated unit. We provide health and mental health support to students here at Manhattanville. We like to make sure that we're supporting our students in all the struggles that they might experience, either medically or emotionally, and just are a nice supportive place to go.
I mean, they do a lot. From personal experience, I've used SHAC for just like a common cold or just something small, but that's just one part of what SHAC does in my opinion, because they also have this whole other side where you have the ability to go in to see like a psychologist or just someone who is like a college counselor in a way, where you can just open up and talk about your challenges. And I think that's more important for student athletes, because then you can open up purely for just your sport, whether that be like your challenges on court or your challenges on the pitch or in the gym. I feel like that's more focused for you, because you're not just a student, you're not just dealing with what a student deals with, you're also dealing with what you have to do and what you're trained to do as an athlete.
I think he really hit that spot on. I think that it's great, especially for people who maybe are coming from a spot at home where they had someone they could already talk to, transitioning into college and having just another outlet of people. And I think, athlete, non-athlete in school is just important to have SHAC in general.
We see students for a wide variety of reasons. Some may come in because they're experiencing anxiety. A lot come in because they're adjusting to a new life here. They haven't been away from home for long periods of time and are just experiencing new things that cause them stress. Some students come in with a history of trauma or struggles with depression, family issues, social issues. We see a lot of different things, and we just are trying to support them in whatever they might be going through by giving individual sessions, group sessions, maybe just a one-time walk-in for a crisis, anything. We really try to adapt to whatever our students need. I think sometimes it's hard because warning signs can show up gradually, so things to look for might be changes in little things like more difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, losing your appetite or eating too much. Just subtle changes in your behavior could signify that there's something going on. If somebody's feeling more irritable than normal, like finding that they're fighting with their friends more or their family more, or they're just like isolating a little bit more than normal. Sometimes it's like they're losing motivation, they're not wanting to go to classes, they might be skipping, they might be having more anxiety, just worries, like more intense worries about performance either on the field or in the classroom. So there's lots of different little things that might not be so obvious and might be more obvious to somebody's friends or family members than themselves at first.
I would say that at the Division III level, it's still like high expectations. You have a pretty regimented schedule, and you need to be able to manage your time, whether that be with classes, if you're involved in any clubs, and then also getting up for practice. Like this morning I had a 6:30 practice, and then I have classes today. Like, you have to be able to manage your time and get your work done. I think that's definitely a big part of the adjustment, because in high school, it's right after school you'd go to practice, and then you go home and your day would kind of be done. Here there's a lot more, like we live together as teams, and the times throughout the day may vary, so yeah, time management is really big.
I think it's mainly about how you can control time management, as Julia said, but it's also just understanding where you are as a person and where you are as what level you play at in your sport. Because if you come in and you think like I'm the greatest or I'm the worst, then it's really going to affect if you have that 6:30 a.m. practice, if you have that lift right after a really bad class, whether you have practice right after a terrible day. You have to be mentally strong in a way, and especially for some sports that can be challenging, whether or not you're playing and you're on like a losing streak or you're on a winning streak. it's about trying to stay positive throughout everything. And I think having something like SHAC that can just help you guide through this muddy water, especially in your first year, it's amazing.
I think sometimes we do see first year students come in who are athletes because they're struggling with the difference in playtime. Coming from high school as a senior where they're like just crushing it, and then coming in as a first year student and maybe not getting as much playtime as they might have wanted or expected. So we do navigate that sometimes as well.
In field hockey, our coach was really great this season about being like, hey, if you need a mental health day, you're not going to be penalized for that. Like, be open with us, talk to us, like very conversational, because they want to be in the loop. And I think that was really nice to hear, like, hey, if you need a day to yourself, take that. Because like they understand it's stressful. They understand that it's definitely adjustment for us freshmen. And then on lacrosse too, I think we have a pretty good team culture, and our coaches are really easy to talk to. So I think, you know, if you have an issue, you are able to bring it to the coach. I don't know if it's the same on a lot of teams, but specifically in high school, I think we had a problem as a team where it was like none of us, we were afraid to go to our coach. But with both teams here in college, I think, you know, all the coaches are very fair and they make it a very welcoming environment, so it makes it easier.
I mean, it's not so much at the forefront. We have had talks about it, but I think it's more so just if there is something wrong, I think we're close enough that we kind of pick up on it, and I think that's good because, I don't know, for me and like for most men, I guess, we don't talk about it as much, so I think us just picking up on it is a lot better than talking about it in that way.
I think that's a good point. I think we do notice as a society that men tend to try to be strong or keep it to themselves or just push through it. And we really want our student athletes to feel comfortable enough to recognize that, you know, when it's time to seek support, and that seeking support is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness, and trying to break down that stigma. I think we've come a long way in terms of being an open campus, a campus open to talking about mental health, I should say, as a whole. Women do feel a little more comfortable with the conversation. MindFit is I'd say it's a mindfulness workshop program that was developed here specifically by one of our psychologists, Joanne, who when we recognized the pressures of being a student athlete, specifically related to things like performance anxiety or just like being able to stay focused on the task at hand rather than worrying a lot about like, oh my gosh, am I gonna, you know, make this shot, or, you know, getting in your head and kind of getting in your own way on the court or on the field. So the program is really designed to teach students about mindfulness, and mindfulness in a very little nutshell is just being able to focus your entire attention on one single thing and not letting all the extraneous stuff get in the way. So the program really works to help students understand that and bring that on, you know, into their play and also into their daily lives. We find it to be very beneficial. We use it with students who come in who are not athletes, and we've found, I think through word of mouth and feedback from coaches, that it's really helpful if you're using it and using it kind of consistently. So we like it to be done in groups. I think it just is a nice way of like bringing team cohesion and talking about stuff that could get in the way, and supporting each other in that way. It can be done individually, like I said, but for team kind of unity, and it's really helpful.
Seeing as we just came out of our Morgan's Message game, I know we had wristbands that represented the cause. We made tie-dye t-shirts to represent the cause. We put ribbons in our hair. It seems like little things, but we just, as a group of girls, it just shows that we're all able to come together and we all understand what it's for. And I think as this is the conversation of mental health, we all take it seriously. So I really think it's just heartwarming to see that the teams do Morgan's Message or a variation of that.
from my experience, it's not really it's kind of a touchy-feely subject for a lot of people, and that's what makes it hard. So doing these, just to remind people like, hey, this does exist, you know, not everyone is going to be vocal about it. You know, the person next to you might have something going on that they aren't telling you, or aren't telling their family, or aren't telling their significant other. And it's just about reminding the people who have, you know, mental health issues, or don't, or may discover that they do in the future, by just letting them know, like, hey, people are there for you, and people will support you. I think that's the greatest message that anyone can have, just that support, whether that is unfelt or felt.
I think what's kind of misunderstood is that mental health is a continuum, and it's not mental illness. Mental health is really a focus on taking care of yourself and keeping yourself healthy and well, and it's a, you know, like I said, it's a continuum, so anyone is vulnerable to at some point in their lives experiencing anxiety or depression or some kind of blip, you know, that causes them to experience struggles. So talking about mental health is really important, and being open and aware of, like, you know, just checking in with yourself and knowing I'm not feeling great or I'm not feeling right, and being able to be willing to get support when you might need it is really going to help in the long run, because it'll help you as an athlete, it'll help you as a student, it'll help you as a friend or a partner. So we really want students to kind of take care of themselves when they first notice it, so it doesn't explode into something bigger.